What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Invest Iowa. Today, I have Ben with me, and we're going to talk about acquisitions, real estate in general. Huge player in Kansas City, getting about 20 deals a month just from all sorts of methods, from pre-foreclosures, direct to seller, you name it. Ben, thank you so much for coming, man.
You bet. Happy to be here.
How's it going? How's your day?
Good. Bright and early out here, and we're already rolling. We got a bunch of appointments set up for today. I was trying to get the team all lined out before we hop on the call.
Love it. So for the people that clicked on the video, why should they stick around? What do you have to offer? What do you think it's something that is valuable that you can provide to the people watching this video?
Well, for anybody who's looking to get into this space, or anybody who currently has a business and they're looking to basically up their number of deals a month, we have a pretty damn good system that we use to get about 2 deals a week from almost $0 in marketing. And it's what you touched on before. It's that pre-foreclosure, that foreclosure leads, pull them free, market to them for almost free. And we're locking up about 2 a week just from that avenue.
Love that. And how would you describe yourself as you're in real estate, but for somebody that doesn't understand the concept of how many things you can do with real estate, how would you classify yourself if you were to?
For sure. So just to give you a little background on where I came from. So I was in college, I thought I was going to be a doctor. I spent a ton of time doing shadowing hours, studying for the MCAT, volunteer hours, had thousands and thousands of hours spent on doing all the things you have to do to become a doctor. And then I got 2 weeks before my undergrad graduation, had already been accepted to medical school, and decided I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. So after 10 years of my entire life devoted to one thing, I was like, okay, let's start over, find something else. So I did. Went and worked a corporate sales job for a while down in Arizona. Was pretty good at the sales side of things, but I hated the corporate life. I couldn't do it. Realized I was a terrible employee, so quit that. But before I quit, I started learning real estate. I spent about a little over a year, every night, every weekend. I didn't go out, didn't party, didn't do anything other than, as soon as my job was over, drove to a coffee shop and sat down at my computer and just learned real estate. So after about a year of that, I quit my corporate job, moved back to Kansas City, built an acquisitions operation for an already established company here that was doing a lot of like property management stuff. And then eventually moved on from that, spent about 4 months in Europe, just packing around. And then after I got back from Europe, I started my own company, and here we are 4 or 5 years later.
Love it. So when the moment that you started going to school, how long has it been since you graduated from college? Well, you didn't graduate, did you?
Yeah, I graduated undergrad in 2016.
2016. Okay, so it hasn't been that long.
No, it has not.
Nope. When would you say did your business start to take off?
We started the business the latter half of 2018. Or 2019, sorry. The latter half of 2019. So we haven't even been around, but this is like our 4th year. And we've just grown faster than I ever thought we would.
Especially with the pandemic and so many things going at the same time.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. Had a lot of things kind of go right, and here we are.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your market. What's so special about the Kansas City area, the Kansas, Missouri area? Like, how do you what would you say are the highlights of working in that area?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Iowa, the Midwest kind of doesn't feel the ebbs and flows as much as the coast do. When the markets are up and down, we don't really feel it as much as the East Coast and West Coast does. So pretty stable market. There's a lot of investment dollars in Kansas City in particular. We have a ton of investors that buy our product after we flip it, and it's just a pretty stable market to do real estate in. We've got a lot of out of state money. We've got a lot of actually out of the country money that comes in and invests directly in Kansas City. So People like this market. I just happened to live here. And when we
Yeah.
started, it was kind of luck of the draw that I lived here, not on the coast. Because I mean, some of the masterminds that we're a part of, the guys on the coast, I don't know if I could do that business where you're constantly up and down and up and down. That would just drive me nuts. So
Yeah, there's
I
a lot more stability to markets that don't have so much fluctuation.
for sure. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
What would you then for Kansas City, how's it different from your Arizona in terms of acquisitions, or is it the same?
Well, Arizona, to give you an idea, in the inner city, like the properties that we won't even touch in Kansas City, that are run down, they're 1800 build houses. In Arizona, those properties were selling off market for $250,000 plus. We can buy those in KC for like 10 grand.
Hmm.
So the difference in the capital that you have to be a player in that market is nuts. And Arizona, there's little pockets that are really good, and then you go a block this way and it's really bad. So the city's so spread out that trying to figure out that city was very difficult. In Kansas City, there's a pretty fine division with inside of this highway, you don't buy here. Outside of this highway, you buy here. So it's a lot more structured here. It's easier to understand the market here, and you don't have to have nearly as much capital to get into the game.
Super interesting. So for those houses that you're telling me about, how are you acquiring these properties? Let's talk about acquisitions. How your business model.
Yeah. So most of what we do is foreclosure. So we pull lists directly from county websites, some other websites that we know that have like auction.com, stuff like that. And then we actually still pull leads from newspapers. So we have newspapers that are sent to our office, and we can pull notice of defaults leads from the newspapers, and stick them into our system, skip trace them, find the owner's information, and then we actively market to those people. So we have a ton of outbound marketing that's just essentially letters. And then we have a team of door knockers who are out every single day knocking on the doors of these foreclosure homes. So we're getting right into the face of these people saying, hey, we understand that you're in a tough situation. If you have it handled, that's perfect. We'll leave you alone. But if you don't, we have a ton of resources that we can provide to either help you modify your loan or help you sell your house. So that's our main business. We also do some PPL, pay per lead. We have some postcards and stuff that we send out. We do a lot of SEO on the home buying side of things. But the foreclosure is kind of like our backbone of the business that we have.
Love that. You told me you guys do short sales as well. So this question might not necessarily work in the way that I'm thinking. But what spread are you looking at for those pre-foreclosures in order to be not a short sale, but let's say maybe a sub two, maybe, there's all sorts of ways that you could go about it. But I guess what's kind of that sweet spot to you?
So we are capped by our lender requirements, which a lot of people are right now. When you buy as many properties as we do, we obviously don't use cash. So we use private financing, and our limit is 75% of ARV minus our rehab cost. So that's a pretty defined line of where our MAO, our max allowable offer is. So let's say a property's ARV's $300,000, multiply that by 0.75, subtract off the rehab cost, and that's what we can buy the house for.
I see.
So yeah.
For that, so in that case, you'll acquire these properties. What are necessarily your dispo strategies?
Yeah. Excuse me. Recently, it's been, I don't know if you guys have New Western up there in Iowa, but they're basically a nationwide dispo operation. So we haven't built out the dispo side of things. We've been really focused on the acquisition side. We give up probably $5,000 to $7,000 that we could capture on the dispo side by just pressing the easy button and handing it off to this company, New Western. But we don't have to go to the property. We don't have to show the property. We don't have to do anything. We just hand it off to them. So
yeah,
That's our main dispo strategy for anything that we wholesale or wholetail. We also flip properties. We've kind of slowed that operation down. We used to do about 60 properties flipped a year, but it's getting so difficult to make money on the flip side of things.
Yeah.
With contractor prices going up, with material prices going up, and there's always those unexpected expenses that you don't account for. So the speed of capital is also a big thing. If you can get $20,000 in 2 weeks or spend 6 months renovating a property and maybe squeak out 40 grand, I'd rather have the 20K now.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that,
So,
in that sense, how big is your team?
so we've got 3 contractor crews that run around for us, about 8 guys a piece. And then we have 12 people in the office, which that's spread between multiple different businesses. We haven't gotten there yet, but
Yeah.
we have more than just a real estate operation here in this office.
Yeah. So right now, where you are currently, how do you manage your business? Walk me through the vision of, okay, I need a person to do this. I need a person to do this. I need a person to do this. Like, what does that look like?
So we have a director of operations who basically oversees all of our companies. We've got 4 companies right now. We're getting ready to acquire 2 more. So we'll have 6 by the beginning of 2024. God, I got to tickle my throat. So he oversees the entire operation of every company. And then we have a lead manager who's in office. We have an acquisitions guy. And then we have a couple of door knockers who are out knocking down the doors. And then my business partner he runs the financial side of things. And then I kind of run the acquisitions team. So
okay. How do you instruct how do you instruct your door knockers? What are their goals? What are their,
so their parameters or their KPIs, they knock 100 doors a week. And out of those 100 doors, they get about 2 deals a week. So we give them a list, they map out their days, and they just drive the city knocking on doors.
Okay. What are the conversations like? Is it different from Iowa in terms of maybe regulations? Is there anything that I'm missing here?
No, they knock on the door and it's pretty simple. It's hey, Mr. Seller, Mr. Homeowner, hopefully you have everything handled. I did notice that your lender scheduled a sale for your house. Hopefully you have it all handled, but if you don't, I'm here to help. So is there anything I can do to help you? Yeah. We approach it with this super soft approach. We're not saying, hey, I'm here to buy your house. That's just going to get the door slammed in your face.
Yeah.
And then we just hammer them with resources. We give them a do-it-yourself guide to modify your loan. We give them a bunch of contact pages. We give them access to, like, we set them up with our credit counselor, because a lot of these people have terrible credit because they're in foreclosure.
Yeah.
And then once we get them to once we qualify them and understand that they're probably not going to qualify for a loan modification,
yeah,
we talk them through the sale process. And then when we have them under contract, we'll then give them a full closing packet that has a ton of different resources in there on moving and some discounts for some stuff that we have throughout the city, like storage and moving companies and insurance and stuff like that. So
wow,
we try to just hammer them with a ton of different resources that are super valuable, but don't really cost us anything.
That's incredible, dude. Because I think my biggest takeaway from this is you're actually giving the resources. So are you giving them pieces of papers with all the instructions on how to do certain things? And
a lot of it's PDF. So we can text them the link. So in all of our workflows, it'll send them text messages that have all the PDF links on it.
Oh, wow. That's like taking it one step further.
Yeah.
Well, that's insane. I never thought of that. I'm guilty of not doing that. And I think actually that is actually providing resources to homeowners, not saying that you would.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of shady business that goes on in real estate acquisitions. I'm sure you understand.
Yep.
So we try to do as much as we can to change that narrative in people's minds. Here are all these resources that you can use. Here are here's an entire contacts page of everyone that you could possibly need to contact. Here's how easy it is to move. We'll help you with movers, we'll help you with storage, we'll help you with dumpsters, any of the things you could possibly need in a move. We're just trying to lower that barrier in their minds of, this is going to suck to have to move out of my house. But the reality is they're going to get foreclosed on. So they have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like we basically set it up and say, hey, you can collect equity out of your house. We'll help you find a place to go. We'll make this transition as simple as possible for you. And we can prove that because we've written it all down right here.
Yeah, that's a game changer, because you're not just saying it, you're also showing it.
For sure.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I can send you all this stuff too if you want it.
I would love to, dude. Yeah. I would love to, because I'll tell you from my experience, right? When you say that you're gonna provide resources, like, these people are like, well, he said he was gonna provide resources, but what does that mean? Like, is he just want me to call him again? You know, like, when it comes to bankruptcy, you know, when it comes to like modify the loan, you know, what's the other one? Modify the loan and then reinstate the loan. Well, that should have been the first one. But like, all of those resources, if I was to have a piece of paper that could explain it in ways that I couldn't, because a lot of times you don't have the hour to talk to the seller. He's in a stress situation. He doesn't want to talk to you. He just wants to get it over with so many people calling you. But I think that is, I don't know why I had never thought of that before.
Well, and we didn't think of it either until about 6 months ago, when we're hammering our heads against the wall, because there's so many new players that have come into this foreclosure space, but 99% of them are just cash home buyers. They just have their business disguised as, we can help, but our way to help is buy your house cash. And a lot of these people, they can qualify for a loan modification. So the way that we see it, it's like, why are we taking these people's equity when they can qualify? They should be able to have that option. They're in a tough spot, but it's not on me to judge why you're in that spot. Let me see what I can do to help. And I'll tell you what, as soon as they modify their loan, if anything else happens down the line, if they go into default again, who's the first person they're going to call?
You.
Yep.
Wow. That's insane. But also, I'd imagine those PDFs also have information to contact you guys.
Yep.
Oh, that is brilliant. That is brilliant.
The bottom of the PDF, every one of them has a contact page that has all of our information at the bottom.
Wow. And then, I mean, pre-foreclosures are your main thing. Let's talk a little bit about direct to seller. How does that work? How is that incorporated into your business?
Yeah, so SEO and pay-per lead stuff. Pay-per leads kind of slowed down over the past couple months, but SEO is still kicking. Those are typically our highest ROI deals. We spend about $5,000 to acquire the deal. But I mean, we're making $50,000-$60,000 rips off these SEO deals.
Right.
So those are completely different conversations. And we have a really good acquisitions guy who understands how to transition between the two conversations. Like, the foreclosure conversation is way different than the distressed seller conversation. So he can kind of balance that really well. And most of the stuff that we do is foreclosure, but we do still get 2-3 deals a month off of the sometimes 4 to 5 deals a month off of the direct to seller stuff.
Yes, I 100% agree with you that the conversations are completely different. If you go with the pre-foreclosure mindset to your distress situation, you will mess it up every single time.
Yep.
And I have so many times. I'm still trying to teach myself to get myself out of that pre-foreclosure mentality, because there are different needs.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So we've even built out, I mean, we have an entire like script that's for the foreclosure side, an entire script that's for the direct to seller side. That's all completely different in the things that you say, the way that you present yourself, the way that you have that conversation in the living room. Because you have to. You're going to fail if you try to bring it all into one thing.
100%. So for the dispo, you don't do anything with the dispo. That's incredible. So you're like 100% focused on acquisitions.
We could build a dispo team, but I'd rather
what for?
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just give up the $5,000 and focus all of my attention on acquiring deals. Because if you don't have any deals, you're not going to dispo them anyway. There's no point in building a dispo team if you don't have the deals. But if you do have the deals, just reinvest that time and effort into getting more of them.
Yeah. And then in terms of long-term strategy, are you keeping any of those deals? How are you working
Yeah,
towards, building that generational wealth? Because,
sure.
the wholesale part of sites is good and all of that, but eventually like everybody wants to make that jump into something more stable.
Yep.
What does that
So
look like for you?
yeah, so recently it's been tough because obviously with interest rates the way they are, the Burr method is tough right now.
Yeah.
But previously we were able to get that to work. Obviously, when interest rates were lower, burring was easy. You just buy the property, you have plenty of equity, renovate it, keep the house, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So now it's only like our very, very deeply discounted deals that we're able to burr out of. But we've supplemented that with a lot of subject twos. So on the foreclosure side, you come across a good number of properties that are great candidates for a subject to. And then we just fold those into the portfolio. So we've kind of supplemented those burr deals with subject twos recently.
Okay.
God, this cough's killing me.
Take your time. Yeah. Are you doing pre-foreclosures and are you doing sub two for pre-foreclosures as well? I feel like
Yeah.
that's usually where I see the most benefit into a transaction like that.
Yeah. And those work if the reinstatement fee isn't ungodly high.
Oh yeah, those entry fees kill me.
Those reinstatement fees when they're 20, 30. We had one last week. The reinstatement fee was $120,000.
That's it. Like, and what was the ARV on the property?
Oh, maybe 250.
That's like a 70% entry fee after
I
your
know.
renovations and
Didn't make
everything.
any sense. Yeah, no, it was wild. Or like, how did you even get to this point? How did the bank not foreclose like 4 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of leads as well of like people that haven't made any payments for 3 years. And I just don't understand. Like
Yeah,
there are people that missed 2 months and they're already like on the side ready to be taken
exactly.
away.
I
So
know. It's wild. It's just
that,
bank dependent for whatever reason.
yeah.
I haven't found a rhyme or reason to any of it. It kind of just luck of the draw of where you're at in your loan and who your lender is.
Good question about lenders and things like that. In terms of networking, um, what networking strategies have you used that have helped you acquire leads or help your business in a way?
Um, Honestly, with that closing packet that we present to all of our sellers, we get a ton of referrals from that because it has all of this information like a moving guide, the steps of the closing process, our contact information, a referral coupon. They get all of this stuff once they've signed a contract. So we get a lot of repeat or like customers that we've worked with in the past that know somebody who has a house, they'll refer that to us. So one of the biggest things for referrals that we found is making sure that you're doing things the right way. If your business is taking advantage of people, they're constantly in litigation, and you're just battling every day to try to get the upper hand or always make it a win-lose. You're going to struggle to get those referral leads. But if you treat people right, you take care of people the right way, you present yourself well on the internet. We've gotten a lot of referral business from stuff like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, it only makes sense that if you do things well, people are gonna come to you. But if you
For
do
sure.
things bad, then the word's gonna spread. And I have
And
multiple cases like that.
well, and as well as I do in these small communities, where everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
The players all know the players. And if you get a bad reputation, it is so hard to build back a reputation that's decent. And I mean, the guys that have the bad reputation in your area. I know the guys that have the bad reputation in my
Yeah.
area. And hopefully you have more people that think you who are awesome compared to the guys that don't like you, because you're never going to make everybody happy and not everyone's going to like you, but hopefully the scales are tipped
Yeah.
in your favor.
So no, not be that bad guy. I will now like to talk about the course that you're offering for somebody that will want to get into,
Yeah.
everything that you're doing. What does that look like? How do people get access to that?
Yeah, so we're actually revamping it right now. But we have we basically start from scratch. There's kind of two routes, two avatars of people that we're targeting this towards. One is the brand new investor, maybe working a 9 to 5, and has a little bit of time to kind of explore real estate. And then one is that business owner that's doing a couple deals a month, but maybe they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on marketing and it's just not working, because we've heard that time and time again recently, especially from some of the masterminds that we're a part of. These guys are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing, and their
Yeah.
return, they just keep spending and spending and spending, and it's like the same return.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that, instead of dumping all this cash, or if you're brand new getting into the business, you don't have to have a ton of capital to get this started. We've built a system to where you can basically build a business in about 3 hours for $150. You can build your business that quick. And then we show you how to pull these leads. We show you how to get access to all these leads. And then we show you exactly what we do to market to these people. So you get all of the text message threads that I send out, that my system sends out. You get all of the scripts, you get all of the in living room conversation stuff, you get every piece of marketing. So everything that we've been talking about, those free value add stuff, it's all included. So for the new investor, it's a great way to just hop into the business and have access to leads that are free right now. And for the business owner that already has a business, stop spending tens of thousands of dollars on stuff that's outdated and doesn't work, and use the free leads and the strategy that we have implemented with these free leads, and go get 2 deals a week.
Yeah, it seems like the best way to start. It should be that way. You don't need a lot of capital, and then you can do it from home, and it's really more a matter of just putting the work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure when you started, I don't know how you got started. You want to explain how you got started, so I can, and then I'll piggyback and tell you how I got started.
My situation is a little different, because I've always been trying to find somebody that can teach me what they already know.
Yeah.
But I mean, from what you said from the course and from what that person taught me how to do, it's pretty much very similar. You're pulling records, because those records are there. Just need to know where to pull them, right? Because that's the best data you're ever gonna get.
Yep.
At the fastest ROI. Because you could set up a pay-per-click and all of that, but that's just not gonna pay you as much, and you're gonna have to spend $2,000 a month, and you're not gonna see that return. You burn all your cash quick, and it's just, what happened to my money? I didn't get any deals.
Exactly.
So yeah, the same way, but I'll say pretty much the package that you're offering, I just learned it from someone.
Gotcha.
So maybe the only difference between what you've done and what I've done is that you now have a systematized description of what you need to do. I just learned that from being out there and asking questions. But I feel like,
perfect.
yeah, I feel like having a systematized version of something that you can follow step by step with some resources of somebody who has already done it is the best way to get started.
Yeah, and it's probably a quicker way to get started too, because I bet it took you a while to figure all this out on your own. But I mean, like when I was starting, I had a mentor that this is how she taught me to start in the business. It was drive neighborhoods in Arizona, look for distressed properties, voice to text, speak them into my phone. And then I would go home, retype the addresses into an Excel file. And then I would skip trace them through like some online service, then send them a mailer with a handwritten address on it. And I sent like 400 pieces a week. So that's all I could handle. And eventually had like one person call me. So it was a ton of legwork, a ton of gas, a ton of like setting up my business took 3 months. It wasn't something that I could do in 3 hours. So what we try to provide in this system is a very quick start to where you're talking to leads day 1 or day 2. You're practicing those conversations so you can get a deal under contract like that.
Yeah, it's really 2 options. You can start doing it yourself and figuring out as you go, but really what you're trading time for money. That's all it is. Do you want
Yeah,
it? You want something that is ready to go for you to learn, or you want to learn along the way? Because I'm
yeah,
sure it took you tons of mistakes
it
or
did.
lost leads because you didn't know what to say, lost
Yep,
opportunities because you weren't there at the right time to learn what you now have in a package.
yep. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah. How do you see then your business going into the future? What are your expectations for the next, let's say, 3 years?
So on the real estate side of things, we're getting into affordable housing, building affordable housing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have two spec homes that are almost finished. We can build these 3-bed, 2-bath ranch style homes, no basement, about 1,000 square feet. We can build them for about $150,000 and then sell them for about 260. So they're still under that $300,000 threshold. That's in the affordable housing range. And we can build them in 120 days from purchase close to sale, or from purchase close to finished construction. And then
Okay.
we put them on the market and sell them. So we can crank these things out. They come all prefabricated. We've worked with a builder, built this entire blueprint and the system for assembling these houses very, very fast. So the next plan, and probably the next 6 to 12 months, is to buy some land that's in the area that we built the two spec homes, 75 to 100 acres, and then build about 3 homes an acre on these properties, which will, one, help the affordable housing gap, and two, make us a bunch of money.
Love that.
And then, the kind of the plan is to sell 2, keep 1. So we'll add to our rental portfolio and also capture some cash. So that's on that side of things. With the foreclosure stuff and the direct seller side, pretty much sticking to the plan. If we're doing 15 to 20 deals a month, I'm completely happy at that number. I don't know what the team would look like if we got past that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of right on where we want to stay. Everyone's happy. We'll just kind of hone in the systems to make it a little bit easier on everybody, and just update that, iterate on those systems. And then we actually are acquiring a paint company at the beginning of the year. So we'll figure out how to mold that into our business. We've never purchased a company before. This is our first one. So
Mm-hmm.
we've kind of built all these companies from scratch. Now we're getting into buying companies. We're acquiring a security company as well. And we actually own a security company. So we'll have 2 security companies, potentially a third one. We're in negotiations on that one. We'll have a paint company, our real estate operation, our building operation. So we've got a lot of things going on.
Wow.
And then we've got this coaching company as well. So
So
there's a
for
lot of moving parts.
the security company, how is that tied to real estate?
It's not even in the
Oh,
slightest. But I had a buddy reach out to me after he left his job, and he's like, "Hey man, I want to start a business, but I don't know how to start a business."
yeah.
All right, well, sounds good. We'll fold you into the mold, and basically started from scratch and built that business up, and now that's kind of running without me having to do a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just another
'Cause
business that we've
I
got.
believe you. I believe you, man. You look like you could do security. You look
It's the
scary.
beard. It's the
The
beard.
beard.
That's it. You should see the other guy. He's even scarier.
It's even scarier.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're taking the business owner approach,
Yeah.
not only just staying on real estate. I love that. It's like a way to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah. And that's kind of our goal for the next 5, 10 years, is just acquire as many companies as we can, package them together. And at some point we may liquidate a few. But I mean, we've built all these systems for the real estate side of things, so we can just implement them into whatever other business we want to do.
Yeah.
And buy them on seller finance terms with low cash down, and capture a lot of the income in the first 5 to 10 years.
What are some of those things that you didn't know you were getting yourself into when you started doing pre-foreclosures?
It's a good question. I didn't realize how many times people tell you to piss off. I thought when you come to their door, it was going to be oh, hey, thanks for showing up. I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah.
That's not how it always is. Especially when we started off, our pitch was, hey, we can help you sell your house so you don't lose everything. It's a bad way to do things. So we've gone iteration after iteration trying to hone in this system, and we finally figured out a way that works really well. I think our guys have had 15 appointments this week, something crazy on just the foreclosure side. So it's working. And then, I mean, there's a lot of steps in that foreclosure process that I did not know about, that I had to learn about. A lot of ways to stop the foreclosure that I didn't know about. So we were kind of flying blind and just figuring it out as things came to us. And a lot of these deals have a ton of moving parts. You have multiple people to pay off.
Yes.
You have to have a beneficiary deed if the seller's dead. Now they're in foreclosure. Got to work them through probate sometimes. Like, there's so many moving parts to these deals rather than the direct seller stuff that's highly competitive, but they're easier deals. You just sign a contract, close.
Yeah, it's like bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
on the pre-foreclosure side, there's always something that could go wrong, even at closing. Oh,
yeah. Well, and trying to stop these foreclosure sales, I'm sure they're difficult to stop. You got to talk to the trustee, you got to talk to the bank, you got to talk to a million different people to get these things stopped.
Yeah. What's the shortest amount of time that you've had before the foreclosure date?
Oh God, we have people call us every week that say my foreclosure date's tomorrow.
Yeah. Have you been able to stop those?
We've stopped 86 sales in the last 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've modified 60 loans in the last 6 months.
Interesting. Yeah. But that's not part of your business model. That's just you helping people, right?
Well, we actually charge for the loan modifications.
Oh, okay.
So we have someone on staff that will contact the bank. So we tell these people up front, we need all of this information before we'll even start, because we don't want to call the bank, get the third-party authorization, go through this entire process. If you're not going to help us with this, we need you guys to be actively engaged in getting this modification approved as we are. So we get all their documentation, and then we have a lady on our team who's been working foreclosures for 15 years, and she has direct relationships with most of the big lenders. So instead of calling in on the dial tone and going, press 1, press 7, press 846, whatever it is, she goes straight to a representative. So she's not sitting on the phone for hours. But we do charge people, and they can finance it, but we charge them $2,500 just to modify their loan, because it does take some of our time.
Yeah, it's either their time or your time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. I didn't know that was possible. Another thing I'm learning today.
Yep. Get yourself a third-party authorization, and you can talk to the banks and help people walk through that process.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was a business. I didn't think you could do make it part of your acquisition team, because now it's serious. You're actually helping people. For sure. Yeah. No, it's an actual value that we do provide. Because most people just go with cash or sub 2, and that's about it. But no, you're actually taking the steps. That's incredible.
You have to have a team that knows what they're doing, because you can get yourself in a ton of legal trouble if you don't. Which in the course, we don't have people do this side of things. We give them all the resources to say, hey, here's how you modify your loan. I'm not an expert at this, but here's all the information to modify it. If you need something later, call me. And I mean, I think our number is 60% of the people that attempt to modify or do modify end up selling their house anyway. Yeah. So we may collect that loan modification, and then 6 months later they call, say, we're behind on the payments again. We got to sell the house. Well, but they're going to call us because they know that we're helpful. They know that we're the guys that provided all this value on the front end. Yep. And they're the ones that you guys have the number of. So, yep, exactly. That's amazing, dude.
Tons of knowledge. Ben, thank you so much for being on the podcast, dude. I learned a lot today.
It was fun. And
Yeah.
I'll send you all these
Please,
documents, all these
please
resources and
do.
stuff.
Please do. I really want to learn.
Yeah.
If you guys have made it this far in the video, if you guys have any questions for Ben, go to his Instagram. He's most active on Instagram, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But besides that, thank you for making it this far in the video. Subscribe, hit the like button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.